Hey everyone, welcome back. In this lesson, we'll learn about loops in Python. Loops are an essential part of programming because they allow us to repeat tasks efficiently without writing the same code again and again. Python provides us with two main types of loops, the for loop and the while loop. We'll also learn some important loop control statements like break and continue, which helps us in control the flow of our loops. Let's start with the for loop. The for loop is used to iterate over a sequence of items such as a list, a string, or a range of numbers. Each item in the sequence is accessed one by one, and the code inside the loop is executed for every item. So let's start check with an example. Here we have defined a list as fruits and we have mentioned the elements as apple, banana, and cherry. For fruit in fruits, once we tap for a for loop, once we tap fruit in fruits, print fruit. So we are basically printing this particular fruit, which means that it contains these names of this fruit. So let's run it. So we will get one by one, like apple, banana, and cherry in a sequence. This makes our code cleaner and more efficient compared to writing separate print statement for each fruit. Let's move to our next slide. This is for using the range. Okay. So basically, we'll first understand what is a range. In Python, the range is a built-in function that generates a sequence of numbers. It's commonly used with for loops to repeat actions a certain number of times. So here is the syntax of range. Range stop, like range start and stop, and range start, stop, and step. So what does this mean? So when we say start, start is the first number in the sequence. By default, it's a zero. Stop, the sequence stop before this number. It's exclusive. And step, the difference between each number in the sequence default is one. So let's check with an example for this. So we have defined for I in the range of 5. We are printing 5. So here it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So because the indexing it will start from 0 and it will go up to 4. So let's also try, as we have mentioned, a different syntax that using the start and the stop. So we have defined I in the range of 2 to 6 and we will just um, print for I. So it's 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's always n minus 1. This is 6 is like considered n and minus 1 it is going to stop. And also we have a third syntax for step that is sorry, third syntax for range, that is step. So let's also understand that. In step, basically here we have defined that it should start at 1 and it should stop at 10 and counts by 2. So it will skip one of the steps. So let's just run this. So if you see, it's giving 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Basically, range is like a number generator that helps loops know how many times to run and which numbers to use. Let's move to our next slide. It is looping through the list. So we have already discussed about list and we will just give us a flashback of it. A list is a collection of items, that is numbers, strings, etc. And sometimes you want to do something with each item in the list. That's where a for loop comes in handy. So let's try this example as well. Here we have created a list and we want to print the fruits. So it's going to take a fruit, each item from the list one by one, and it will call it like a fruit. And once we type print fruit, it's going to give us this all the fruit names. the while loop, the second loop in the Python that allows. So the while loop, unlike the for loop, which iterates over a predefined sequence, a while loop keeps executing as long as a certain condition is true. For example, if we want to print, let's type this into Visual Studio. For example, if we want to count from 1 to 5, we can start with a variable as we have defined, like count is equal to 1, and run a while loop with the condition count less than equal to 5. Inside the loop, we will print the value of this particular count and increment it by 1 after each iteration. Once count becomes 6, the condition becomes false and the loop will automatically stop. So let's give it a try. So as you have seen, this has stopped at 6, like it has stopped at 5 basically, because it has incremented 1 and it has like the output value will be 6 of it. So break statement. This statement stops the loop immediately, even if the condition is still true. Okay, so let's try this out as well. Here, if you see, for I in the range, we have specified 1 to 6, and if I is equal to 4, it is going to break. So, at 1, 2, and 3, it has like the code execution has stopped at this particular statement because it has become true and it has hit this particular block. Basically, it's going to check if it is like once it is going to execute if I is equal to 4, no, then it had printed 1. Then again, this particular whole block of code will be checked till 3. And once it hits this particular statement, it's going to break. And let's move to a continuous statement. So what basically is continuous statement? Continuous statement skips the current iteration and moves to the next one. So if we write a program code for it, it's going to be easier for us to understand. So if we have also same defined and we have just replaced a break with continue and we have defined as print. So see, it's 1, 2, 4, and 5 because it what's just a statement say is a continuous statement skips the current iteration. It has skipped 3 and it moved to the next one. That is, it has skipped printing the third like line item number 3 and it has taken 4 and 5 here. So that's what the continuous statement does. So in this tutorial, we have learned till now the for loop, while, break, and continue. Let's meet in the next video.